Well, joining us now to discuss issues around Dogara'sdefection and, of course, the performance of the 8th Assembly, we're joined by Rahman Adebiyi. He is the party chairman, Liberation Movement. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
We also have Dotun Olaribigbe. He is the senatorial candidate, Liberation Movement Party in Lagos Central. Thanks for joining us as well.
Thanks for having us.
Now, we would like to shoot the first shot. You heard of the defection coming from Yakubu Dogara. What was your response? Were you expecting this twist of fate?
Well, I don't know why people are... what he did now is just technicalities. He has defected a long time ago. He's just putting people... Because, you know, when you do things and you see that your documentation is not proper, you quickly go back and retrace your step and do what is proper, which is what I think he has done now. So there's nothing new. Everybody knew he has defected a long time ago.
So you're saying that when Bukola Saraki defected, that was when we should have sensed that this was also coming into play?
Yes, and then before a politician defects to the other party, you would have seen in his body language, in his speech, in his mannerism, in his favoritism, in his will and his caprices, like like we want to say. Okay,
let me come to you now, Dotun. Talking about Dogara, he has also made a statement on the minimum wage, saying that 30K is not even a living wage. There could have been more, but then the reps okayed 30K. Now, does he also point to a gain of this defection that we've clearly seen? Because obviously he's, from what some might term it, he's standing with the common man now.
Personally, to me, I mean, that is arrant nonsense. Defection has no bearing on minimum wage. See, everybody knows that. I am an economist. Everybody knows that 30K is not a living wage. You know, we know that. There's no matter the kind of semantics you want to play around that, no, they're just fooling themselves, you know. So coming to stand with 30K, it might be a populist move, but defection is a matter of enlightened self-interest. So like the chairman said, I mean, I'm surprised that they're coming up with a Dogara defection now. When? Since when? It's defected since now. Why they just telling us that Dogara is defected? See, we all know from Jump Street that APC was a special purpose vehicle created to grab power from Jonathan without any definite game plan to move Nigeria forward. That is the consequence of what we're suffering from now.
And now, do you think the PDP is now supposed to be the vehicle to get power and then move things?
PDP is not a vehicle, right? The engine has knocked. See, but the point is, PDP had to come into APC for APC to grab power from Jonathan. So APC is now going back into PDP to attempt to grab power back from Buhari.
So it's a cyclical trend.
Thank you very much. But unfortunately for them, Buhari is one step ahead of the game. You know, because I mean, when they brought him in '83, they took him out in '85 just like that. So the man comes back in now, you know, it's fitted his people in the whole security architecture of Nigeria.
But there has been sharp criticisms because at the end of the day, if you have members of one party shifting to the other party, people have said, some quarters have quoted this as saying that the parties in Nigeria don't necessarily have strong ideologies, because if we did, we wouldn't easily be swinging ways. But now that this is happening, it is still the same state or political actors that are moving from point A to point B. There's no necessarily change of character, change of mission, change of ideology. So it is just the same phases we are seeing in different situations.
Yeah. To put that straight, we all know when the merger and the formation of APC was coming up. It was a collection of strange bedfellows, like he said, to hijack. The word was used in right context. They wanted to hijack power, and they got that done. And having done that, when they were trying to now share the outcome or the loot, of the powers that have been gotten, they now realized that A is superior to B, B is superior to C, and they didn't want that to happen. Of course, they had a lot of differences, and the differences from beginning to the point in which we are, the Nigerian masses are the ones that have suffered in the hands of this government.
But then people also say that at the end of the day, the positions, for example, looking at the president of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, before his shift, he came into power under the APC. That's being the president of the Senate before defecting. And looking at also Yakubu Dogara, so how do we now marry this shift when we have so much of fluidity? A party brings you in, it is under the platform that you got elected. Yes, there is supposed to be the 2/3 agreement and saying that, well, we don't want you in that office anymore. But at the end of the day, where lies the interest of the common man if we keep on swinging
That's
ways?
that's why we need to, our democracy is growing. As it grows, we need to begin to entrench the rule of law, and then we need to begin to espouse principles of good ideology that politicians will need to begin to follow. Because of the fact that there is no accountability to the people, because before you can say you're shifting base, let's even break it down practically. It means that your constituents that you represent have come to you in an appeal, in a proposal document, praying on you to say, from you are our representative, we are no longer okay with this platform you have brought us in with. We want to shift to a different platform, and they will analyze these reasons. If you go and ask any of them that has defected, do they ever had any proposal from their constituency to say they should shift? It's a self-interest shift, which we call selfishness.
Before you react to Dotun, let me also add this. I think we are not talking about the possible gains, because I don't think that we should be looking at defection as something that does not give Nigerians any gain at all.
Yes.
Because now, the question I asked you before about minimum wage, don't you think that there are things based on oversight functions that legislators may start seeing clearly and saying, oh, these things are not actually right? But those were the things they weren't pointing out when they were with the ruling party. But now, because they're in the opposition, it's possible that the common man gains, don't you think?
Yeah, you see, going back to him, there's no ideology to start with in all these parties. No ideology. That's a given. So that's the structural problem with Nigeria. So they're moving forward now. You see, I stand to be challenged. I believe, because I've been involved since 1999, that 70% of the people that they send to the National Assembly, they don't know what they're going there to go and do. They're just going there on basis of IE, you know. The power man in that sector brings this man, and might bring his shoemakers, oh yeah, you go and take that seat, you know. He's going there, he doesn't know what he's going to do. So it's a house of commotion. So they don't need opposition. APC's opposition, the same way PDP was PDP's opposition the last dispensation. It's the same film. We're just replaying that same movie.
But then, don't you think that the 8th Assembly has fared better in your assessment? How would you rate the 8th Assembly?
The 8th Assembly has been a very cantankerous house. You see, because you can't build something on nothing. Coming into the 8th Assembly, hey, look at Bukola Saraki. He personally grabbed the Senate presidency. You see, because look, you have a merger. You have ACN, you have CPC, you have AMPP, you have a faction of ABGA, and you have new PDP, 5 people, 5 bodies. Now you come to the merger. The president is from CPC. The vice president is from ACN. The party chairman is from AMPP. What are you giving new PDP? What are you giving the faction of ABGA? Nothing. And the guys, they